Please. Please work. Ah, there we go. Okay, cool. Oh, no. Everything is open. Ah. You saw nothing. You saw fucking nothing. Why is there... Okay, there are still technical difficulties. 1 fucking second. What in the goddamn... Ah. All right. Now we're finally ready. Okay. What's up, watchers? Welcome back to this fucking train wreck. It's good to see you again. I swear to God, every time that I set up a stream, and I think to myself, man, this has gone very, very well. I have time to, like, text my parents before I go live. I have the time to get myself a nice mug of tea. I have the time to go to the bathroom before the stream starts, so I don't have to bring up the go piss girl screen. Everything is good. Everything is fine. It's always on those streams that voice mod says, hey, Novella, go fuck yourself. I'm not gonna open. I'm also not gonna show up in the fucking start bar. You're gonna have to make VTube Studio windowed mode for just a little bit. It's like, okay, cool, thank you. Thanks, I guess. Anyway, so I hope you all out there have been having a good time. My life's been pretty good, outside of the whole kind of sort of getting sick thing. I will say, it sucks getting, like, full-on sick. I'm not gonna say that what I have is worse than that, but I will say, it's very fucking annoying when your body is in the stage of just about to get sick. Like, just on the verge of getting sick for, like, 2 weeks straight. Like, it was only this past week that I finally felt like, oh yeah, maybe I'm starting to get a little bit sick. Like, oh shit, my voice is going, all that. Like, I probably will wake up with a fever tomorrow. That kind of fucking sucks. I don't want to call in sick to work on my first 3 months, but it's like, if I have to, I will. But no, my body's like, no, you're not gonna get sick enough for that. You're not gonna get sick enough to call in sick for work. You're just gonna be sick enough that talking hurts sometimes, and when you cough, you sound like you've been smoking 10 packs a day for the last 20 years. It's like, okay, thanks. Thanks, body. Thanks. And to be honest, today's stream is probably going to be a bit shorter because of that, because, yeah, I'm still not fully back to normal, which fucking sucks. I really wish I was. However, I can feel the scratchiness in my throat. And I know that I was actually hanging out with some friends on Friday nights over on Discord. And by the end of it, one of them did tell me that it sounded like I was gargling marbles. So hopefully it won't get to that point. Hopefully we won't get to the point where my voice is that bad. But yeah, I mean, outside of the being sick stuff, I don't really have too much to talk about. Been getting real into my writing again. I'm trying to finish up the thing that I'm working on, which you guys will not see because it's functionally fanfiction of 2 different stories that are not released. Oh, excuse me. That are not released yet. So, like, there's no points in me publishing it anywhere. I did this purely for fun. And I have to keep reminding myself that because I keep looking at it and going, it doesn't feel like the pacing is right. And also, I don't know if the characters are being in character and this and that. And it's like, I've been so worried about these different things that sometimes I need to step back and remind myself, like, hey, literally the only people who are going to read this version of the story are, like, friends that I have known for 5+ years. Like, this isn't, I'm not going out to make this a fucking New York Times bestseller. I don't actually care if any of my fucking stories do that well. I'm mostly making them because they're like brain worms. I gotta get them out of my head. I gotta make them real. Actually, that does bring up something that I can talk about. I am having such a hard fucking time finding writing advice podcasts that actually have the advice that I'm looking for. Because I swear to God, like, I've been looking up all of these different, like, podcasts that are, like, writing advice by, like, actual authors and this and that. But every time that I listen to an episode of one, it feels like they're more talking about how writing to be published works, and not just in general, like, here's how you tell a good story, in my opinion. Because I find the latter way more helpful for me personally as someone who does not ever want their stuff published traditionally. I don't want to make it my job. And a lot of writing podcasts seem to be made and geared towards people who want to make writing their job, which that's great. I like that it's helpful for someone. I like that it's helpful for probably a lot of people. I know that my opinions on this are not standard in any way. So it's like, I get it. I get why they are the way that they are. However, I would like something that helps me, please. I would very much like to get a writing podcast that's just like, hey, here's some different ways to approach, like, writing characters, doing world building. It's like, I know they exist, because I used to listen to one. A writing advice YouTuber that I followed a long time ago. I don't think they've made actual, like, writing advice stuff in a few years now. They had a podcast called Omakase, and it was very, very helpful. It was, they just took questions from their audience about, like, different aspects of writing that people were having trouble with, and they would answer to the best of their abilities. And it's like, that's all I really want. And to be honest, I'd go back and re-listen to Omakase, but there is one small problem, and it's that there was a segment of Omakase where basically Max, the one who ran this whole podcast, would give a writing prompt to the audience, and then would play, like, half an hour of, like, unobtrusive music, specifically so that this way you could go and write. Which is fucking fantastic when I'm just, you know, I want something in the background when I'm playing Skyrim or Slime Rancher or Minecraft or any of my other time wasters. Because that 30 minutes will get me off my ass and will get me writing. The issue is I'm looking for podcasts that I can listen to while I'm driving. And I don't think that it's a good idea for me to get a bunch of inspiration while I am, like, 4 hours away from completing my rounds. Yeah, if you want that info, you have to watch lectures or interviews. Damn. It's like... And the one issue with that, though, is, like, first off, I don't even know where I go to find that outside of just looking it up on YouTube. And secondly, I feel like it would be too formal for me to listen to on, like, just my daily drives. Like, I don't want it to feel like I'm doing fucking college schoolwork again. I was through that already. I already did the college thing. Barring if my job just lets me go again, because that's unfortunately a possibility I have to consider nowadays. I don't want to go back to college. It costs a lot of money. It's very stressful. It takes a lot of time. If I could put that money towards saving up for a house instead, I would much prefer to do this. So, yeah, it's just, I don't know, a lot of... I need to find, like, a good writing advice podcast that hopefully has a bunch of episodes. Although I may just end up instead listening to, like, story-driven podcasts instead, or audiobooks, because I know specifically audiobooks helped me out a lot before. It's specifically reading Discworld. Admittedly, like, reading Discworld lately is what's actually making me rate good. It's like, whenever I haven't read Discworld in a bit, I'm trying to write, and I'm like, this seems kind of stale. And then I read, like, I don't know, like, I read Discworld for, like, half an hour, and then all of a sudden that night, I'm actually putting words together the right way. So, it definitely does help to read books. The issue is that all of the audiobooks that I have on hold at the library are still on hold, and will be for a couple of weeks. So... if any of you guys out there have some good advice, there's a YouTuber who I watch called Local Script Man, and he has good videos, not podcasts, but oh well, fair enough. I mean, if he has long enough videos as well, like, that can kind of work as a podcast. I mean, one of the podcasts I was listening to, the episodes were only like 15 minutes long, so hell, I may actually check that out. It's just, when I'm driving for long periods of time, I'm like, fuck, I could be doing something else while I'm going from point A to point B. I could be, like, you know, gathering some kind of information. Because it's out there. People make podcasts about all kinds of stuff. People make audiobooks. People do all kinds of shit. It's like, I could be doing more than just listening to my funny Vocaloid tunes. Because that's just what I do every day already. I have an excuse to just sit down and listen to something for like 6 hours. Broken up every now and again whenever I have to get out of the van. But yeah, I may check out Local Script Man. In the meantime, actually, before I end up talking too much and making my voice bad again, we should actually start playing some Steins Gate Zero. So just give me one quick moment. I gotta boot up the game, because I never do this. I never do this before the stream starts. Okay. Oh, that's right, we were playing Disco Elysium last time. So yeah, if you guys did not, wait, what is this? What is this? Where is... There's the game. There we go. Okay. And we're good. But yeah, if you guys missed the announcements and stuff, yeah, we're not doing Disco this week. Val had to go out of town a bit unexpectedly, and it wasn't happening. Wait, is this the original Steins Gate? I could have sworn I clicked Steins Gate 0. I'm pretty sure I clicked Steins Gate 0. Okay, I did. Thank God. Alright. But yeah, we're not doing Disco this week. Val had to go out of town. Hopefully we'll be able to do it next weekend. The weekend after, I'm also not sure if I'll be able to do it. I am also going out of town. Not next weekend, but the weekend after. So, we'll have to wait and see. We're gonna kind of play it by ear, I guess. But it kind of does work out, because I had to cancel on Monday. Or not Monday, Wednesday. What the fuck am I saying? I don't stream for, like, 1 week, and my brain just dies. I hate how it works. Alright, let's go. Let's just hop right into it before I start rambling again. The hospital halls were strangely silent after visiting hours were over. Also, I got messages. I want to talk in private. I'll wait for you to contact me. Was I not supposed to do this, actually? Wait a sec, wait a sec, wait a sec, wait a sec, wait a sec. I forgot that I'm going for all endings. Wait a second. Let me just... Steins Gate 0, how to get all endings. Okay. I don't have to worry about this, I think. All right. Something in the short message made me feel very tense. After I said my goodbyes to the others, I contacted Suzuha. She told me to come to the top of the radio building. How long is your commute? Well, okay. My commute is actually very, very short. The thing is, I work as a driver for the company. So, typically, the first day of the week, I do the most driving. I'm typically gone for about, like, 6.5 hours. Can be more, depending on the weather. There was one day where I left at, like, 10 in the morning. Did not get back until, like, 5:30 because there was a snowstorm. Shit happens. But, yeah, it's like, now that I am in a car so much more than I've basically ever been. Ever, now that I think about it. Like, I don't think I've ever had to spend an entire day driving before. But yeah, it's like, I remember back when I used to have, like, a very long commute, because I was going from my hometown to a nearby city, but it was, like, a little over an hour away, but my job was in this city, and I still lived with my parents, so it was like, okay, I guess I have to do what I have to do. I would be constantly listening to podcasts and stuff. Like, I got through most of the Magnus archives just from my commutes to and from work. I would listen to, like, 2 episodes on the way in, and then 2 episodes on the way home. And I just did that for like a month and a half until I started getting too paranoid in my day-to-day life. You gotta love it when you love horror, but also have anxiety. Yeah, that's why I need podcasts. It's like I was listening to audiobooks for a bit, but like I said, my library, like all the ones that I have on hold that seem interesting, just aren't available. Also, as a side note, I hate how my library app, I can't just search up, hey, I would like to listen to fiction podcasts, or not fiction podcasts, fiction audiobooks, please. Please. I don't want to read, I don't want to listen to autobiographies. I don't want to listen to stuff about, like, oh, here's why society is bad right now. It's like, I don't want that. I want to get better at writing, please. Please show me the things that'll make me better at writing. Or at least show me the stuff that'll give me inspiration to write. But yeah, it's like, I think the most, the one that's closest to reaching me is Carrie by Stephen King, and I'm pretty sure that that book, I've still got to wait another 2 weeks, potentially, before I get it. So that sucks. When I arrived, she was standing silently on the dark roof. There was no trace of a smile on her face. Her eyes shone in the darkness, and as she glared at me, I felt a shiver run down my spine. This was not the Suzuha I was used to. Maybe this was her true self. Whatever she wanted to talk to me about, I was sure I wasn't gonna like it.
悪かったね、オカリンおじさん。こんなところに呼び出しちゃって。
話ってなんだ？
あ、うん。私はなんていうか、話の駆け引きとか、上手な情報の引き出し方とか、そういうの苦手でさ。
Do you write horror or you just like to read it? It kind of depends on how I'm feeling. It's funny because I was about to say, I wouldn't consider the thing that I'm writing right now to be horror. And then I remembered, like, I just had a conversation on Friday night with one of my friends about all of the different ways that the story I'm writing is absolutely fucked up. It's like, no, I am kind of writing horror, but not really, like, it's hard to say. I tend to write, like, portal fantasy stories. So that's when someone from one world ends up in another. And, I don't know. I like psychological topics in my stories. And also using character psychology to absolutely fuck with them. I guess I would consider what I'm writing right now to be like a dark portal fantasy story. But at the same time, it's like I write, like, I feel like I'm best at writing things that are basically like under the urban fantasy sort of subgenre. It's hard to say, like, the other thing is too, is that if I start talking about the stories that I'm working on stream, it will be the rest of the stream. Like, that's the problem. This is why I don't talk about my writing with people a lot, because it's like, it's not that I don't want to talk about it, it's that I want to talk about it too much. But yeah, it's like, I guess I would classify what I'm writing as horror. And I've definitely, like, tried to write some just straight up horror stuff. I don't know how good I am at it, but I do enjoy just a nice little, like, hey, wouldn't it be fucked up if this happened kind of story. All right. From the way she stumbled over her words, it was clearly something she didn't want to talk about.
単刀直入に言ってくれ。以前のお前なら多分そうしていただろう。
そうだね。
もしかして俺のこと気遣ってくれてるのか。そうか。ありがとう。
別にそんなんじゃ。
Suzuha got a little annoyed and tried to say something back to me, but ended up swallowing her words.
実は俺、最初はちょっとショックだったんだ。お前が俺のよく知ってる鈴葉と全然違ったから。
それは仕方ない。世界線が違えば、育った環境もそこで出来上がる人格や考え方も変わる。
Yeah, as it would.
でも今はそうは思わない。鈴葉はやっぱり鈴葉だよ。
いや、やっぱり私は違う。オカリンおじさんのよく知ってる天音鈴葉じゃない。
鈴葉。
今日私はオカリンおじさんを尾行したんだ。
尾行？
そう、病院の中までずっと。
Hell yeah. Animation is really cool. What did she say? Why would she do that? No, I knew the answer without even asking. There was only one reason she would do something like that.
俺が世界線を移動したことに気づいたのか。
あのクリスマスの夜におじさんにリーディングシュタイナーが発動したんじゃないかとずっと疑ってたんだ。あの日だけじゃない、今日もだ。それで確信に変わったよ。
I deliberately avoided telling Suzuha that the world line had changed. It was obvious that she would react like this.
聞かせて。ここはもう前の世界線とは変わってしまったのか。
聞いてどうする？
Very good question!
いいから答えて。
Oh, fuck!
これは命令だ。岡部倫太郎。
Alright! I did just get an achievement for unlocking 50% of the CGs. I gulped as I saw her pull a gleaming pistol out from her jacket. It was aimed right between my eyes.
冗談だよな。
冗談でこんなことはしない。
No, she definitely wouldn't. She definitely wouldn't. It felt like Suzuha was trying to revert to who she was when she first came to the Beta World line. A woman who put her mission above everything else. She was so desperate it hurt to even look at her. What would happen if she shot me here? I imagined myself lying on the ground in a pool of blood. Oh god. In my mind, the image overlapped with Kurisu's dead body. closed my eyes and grit my teeth, trying to avoid a flashback. I'd spent the last month trying to escape to Okinawa in the middle of a war. I still wasn't used to having a gun pointed right at me.
もう一度聞く。世界線は変動したのか。ここはもう以前とは違う世界なのか。
But Suzuha's hands were shaking a little as she held the gun. That would have been unimaginable when she'd first come here from the future. Maybe she was ashamed of it, because she bit down on her teeth even harder. She must have bit her lip when she did so, because a single trail of blood ran down her jaw and dripped onto the ground. I stared at the blood as I answered.
大丈夫だ。俺たちは以前のままの世界線にいる。
本当に？
ああ。一度別の世界線に移動したのは事実だが、再び元に戻ったはずだ。
それをやったのは誰だ？ロシアか。
だと思う。
とうとうタイムマシンの実験を開始したってことか。
I nodded.
それならもう一刻の猶予もないじゃないか。連中が実験を続ければやがて取り返しのつかないことが起きる。シュタインズゲートに続く道が閉ざされてしまうかもしれない。私はバカだ。悩んでる場合じゃなかった。もう説得なんて終わりだ。
どうする気だ？
岡部倫太郎、私の命令に従ってもらう。一緒に7月28日に行くんだ。
That's a bad idea! That's a very fucking bad idea!
拒否したら？
拒否なんてさせない。
お前はいいのか？それで
何？
この世界線をなかったことにしてしまって、それで
うるさい。
There was a horrible ringing in my ears and a fierce pain in my eardrums. A second later, the smell of gunpowder passed by my face. She really shot at me.
次は脅しじゃなくて当てる。
She was glaring at me as if she was about to cry. We stared at each other in silence. I tried as hard as I could to come up with something to calm her down, but nothing came to me. Nothing I could come up with would get her to change her mind. What should I do? Suddenly, I heard Daru's voice. I turned and saw that he'd just come out of the door near the stairs.
父さん、どうして？
マユシとアマネシからメールがあったんだ。なんか鈴葉がオカリンを呼び出したって言うからさ、嫌な予感がして探してたんだお。あと、差出人不明のメールがあった。
Oh?
差出人不明？
この場所のマップの URL を送りつけられた。もしやと思って真っ先に来てみたわけ。
Huh.
そしたら銃声がしたからびっくりしたっつうの。
Daru's whole body was covered in sweat. Even as he spoke, large beads were appearing on his forehead. He must have really hurried.
で、鈴葉、その銃は何なん？
いや、鈴葉は別に何も。
何もなかったら銃なんて撃たないっしょ、上皇。ほら鈴葉、話してみるといいのだぜ。
父さんだって本当は分かってるくせに。
何が？
世界線が変動したことだよ。ロシアがタイムマシンの実験を始めたんだ。
それって確定なん？
だから焦ってるんじゃないか。このままじゃ何もかも終わりなんだ。
It does take a bit of the seriousness out of it. But I think it still works.
タインズゲートに到達できない。第三次世界大戦も防げない。大勢の人が死んで、母さんも死んで、何もかも回避できない。
それは困るよ。でもだからってさ、オカリンを脅して無理やり過去へ連れて行ったとして、それでうまくいくわけ？
I'm reading this very serious scene, and meanwhile in the background I can just hear Vesta with the zoomies just running around, yelling, doing little fucking parkour tricks. Vesta, ma'am, I'm trying to do something here. Daru's normally easygoing expression had suddenly turned serious.
タイムマシンや世界線のことを研究し始めて、なんとなく分かってきたんだよね。
Oh?
オカリンの言う通り、普通のやり方じゃ何度やってもマキセ氏の命を救うことなんてできないんじゃないかって。
父さんまで何を言って。
世界線のルールや因果率がそんな簡単に変えられるんなら、オカリンの言うアルファ世界線でマユ氏の命だって救えたはずっしょ。
じゃあどうしたらいいって言うんだ。
Daru brought his fist up to his chest.
どうすべきかを僕らは研究してるわけっしょ。
でももう時間が。
大丈夫、僕に任せとけって。絶対に何とかしてみせる。たまには父さんの言うことも素直に聞いてほしいのだぜ。
Daru's voice was strong and kind in a way you'd never imagine he was capable of. He softly took the gun from Suzuha's hands. She didn't resist.
ほら、銃なんかよりもっと大切なものを忘れてろ。今日みたいな寒い日にこそこれを使うべき。
Daru took something out of his pocket. He pressed it into Suzuha's hands. Aw, a pair of gloves. It was a pair of handmade gloves. It was the present that Yuki had given her at the Christmas party. I remembered it well.
私
When he gave her the gloves, warm tears started to flow down her face.
どうしていいのかわかんない。わかんなくなっちゃった。
うん。
助けて。父さん。助けて。お願い。
Suzuha's shoulders shook as the tears poured down. I turned my eyes towards the time machine, a silhouette in the darkness.
俺はもう乗らないって決めたんだ。
No matter what Daru said, no matter how Suzuha threatened me, I wasn't going back to the past. I can't look back. The next thing she knew, Suzuha was inside the time machine, wrapped up in a blanket. She must have been crying a lot because she hadn't even noticed that she'd come inside the time machine, or that Rintaro had left. Her dad was next to her. He was also wrapped up in a blanket, and he was looking at her.
落ち着いた？
This is an adorable CG. Just two little blanket burritos, having a heart-to-heart.
今何時？
She wiped away the tears as she asked.
もうすぐ日付が変わるよ。
ごめん。こんな時間まで付き合わせて。
平気平気。前にも言ったっしょ。父さんのこといくらでも頼っていいのだぜって。
うん。
The time machine's hatch was still open. and cold air was pouring in. Each time they spoke, they could see their breath turn white. The machine was still silent. They could use the life support system in the cockpit to keep out the cold, but she didn't want to waste the energy. She rubbed her cheeks with her glove-covered hands. The gloves Yuki gave her were very warm, and her hands were the one part of her that wasn't cold.
僕さ、いつか必ずオカリンも僕らと一緒に、いや違うな。僕らの先頭に立って指揮を取ってくれるって信じてるんだよね。
Okay, Vesta, please. Get down from there. Just a second. My cat's eating plastic. Get down from there. Alright, there we go. Suzuha was a little surprised to see Itaru speaking seriously. Normally, all Itaru ever did was screw around.
未来ガジェット研究所はオカリンがいてこそだから。今はちょっと腐ってるけどきっと立ち直る。同時に法王院京馬もよみがえるわけ。不死鳥の名は伊達じゃない的な、中二病オツ的な。その時が来たら多分オカリンは自分からタイムマシンに乗るよ。鈴葉に言われなくってもね。
Suzuha realized Itaru was trying to make her feel better. Suddenly, deep in her heart, she felt a little warmer.
父さん、すごく恥ずかしいこと言ってるの自覚してる？
うわ、ですよね。オカリン本人の前じゃ口が裂けても言えないな。
私、明日までに手紙書くよ。オカリンおじさんに。直接顔見て話すとまた変な感じになっちゃうから。ごめんなさいっていうのと、もうちょっとだけもがいてみるって。だからオカリンおじさんにも考えてみてほしいって。そうは言っても実はもうあんまり時間はないんだけど。
時間ないって？ロシアが実験を開始したから？
実はタイムマシンを制御してる量子コンピューターの内蔵電池、もうすぐ切れそうなんだ。
Oh, well, shit.
マジ？
前に話したよね。かがりを探すために1998年から何度もマシンを使ったって。それは当初の計画にはなかった行動なんだ。当然マシンを制御するコンピューターの使用回数も予定より多くなって。
それでバッテリーが消耗したっつうことか。
マシンそのものの燃料よりそっちの方が深刻なんだよ。マシンを正確に制御してジャンプさせることが難しくなる。
バッテリーだったら交換とか充電とかすればいいんじゃね？
無理だよ。
ちょっとだけその内蔵電池見させてもらっていいかな？
Suzuha nodded and pointed at a piece of the core of the machine. Itaru leaned his huge body forward to take a look, but soon he gave out a moan of confusion.
なんぞこれ。
The battery was the same size as a car's, but it was a product of 2036's technology, and Itaru lived in the year 2010. There was probably no way he could understand it. From Itaru's perspective, it might as well have been a black box of unknown technology. A quick look wouldn't tell him anything about how it was built or how it would work. That was one reason why Suzuha had agreed to let him look at it.
2010年の技術で何とかするのは無理だと思う。言うなればそれは使い切りの電池と同じ状態ってこと。充電も交換もできない。
Why would you put that in the time machine? Why would you not make a battery that can be recharged for the time machine?
この時代のバッテリーか発電機に乾燥するのは
Suzuha shook her head helplessly.
とっくに試したよ。でも不可能だった。ルミ姉さんに頼んで車のバッテリーを用意してもらったんだ。トラックとかに積まれてる大きなやつ。繋いでみたら1秒持たなかった。
なんだと？
ガソリンを使う発電機も試してみたけど、それもダメだった。ガソリンが何ガロン必要なのか見当もつかない。だいたいそんな量のガソリンマシンには積めないし。ルミ姉さんね、ものすごく無理をしてくれて最新の燃料電池まで手に入れてくれたんだよ。
But even that wasn't good enough.
未来の技術ってすげえのな。こんな小さなものがそんな大電力を賄ってるっつうわけ？
Itaru was staring in amazement at the futuristic battery.
SF 映画みたく生ゴミを電気に変えられたらな。で、このバッテリーあとどれくらい持ちそうなん？
Also, that using garbage as fuel, that's a real thing, actually. I looked into it a little bit. There are places now that, when incinerating garbage, they'll use it to actually, like, spin turbines and create electricity. It's really cool.
多分あと1回か2回ジャンプしたらそれで終わり。
たったそれだけ？
しかもこうやってマシンが停止してる間もさ、重力場や座標点の計測装置なんかはずっと動いてるから、ジャンプしなくてもいずれ電池切れになる。残ったバッテリーで正確なジャンプをするにはあと半年が限界だろうね。マキセ・クリスを救いに行けるタイミングもそこまでってことになる。
Suzuha grabbed onto Itaru's back and took a deep breath. It was squishy, and it felt good.
バッテリーが切れてマシンのコントロールを失ったらどうなるんだろう。カーブラックホールの制御も効かなくなるし、イベントホライゾンの向こうから永遠に戻ってこられないとか。
I'm really hoping you mean that as a fun little metaphor, Suzuha, not like a real fucking black hole. Okay, causality. We also didn't read these. Okay, causality. The school of thought that says that all things have a cause and an effect. This idea is at the core of relativity theory. However, it has been observed in the microscale world of quantum mechanics that causality does not always apply. Quantum computer. A computer capable of using quantum mechanical overlapping to perform parallel processing. While modern-day computers switch between two signals, 0 and 1, to perform their calculations, a quantum computer is capable of calculating these two signals at the same time. This allows for exponentially faster calculations, to the point where it is expected that quantum computing will change everything about the world we know. Practical quantum computers have not yet been built. We got Kerr black holes. A black hole whose existence is predicted by current theories of physics. Unlike other black holes, the singularity at its center rotates. While other black holes have their singularities at a single point, the Kerr black hole's singularity is a ring. I wonder where we've seen rings before! Alright, event horizon. Also known as the Schwarzschild radius. A point past which no information can be transmitted. Information transmission occurs via light and electromagnetic waves, but the incredible gravity at the center of a black hole makes it impossible for even light to escape. The boundary at which this occurs is the event horizon. Anything that occurs inside an event horizon cannot be observed from the outside. Since no light can escape, the center of a black hole appears black. Interesting. Yeah, I wonder what this ring is here. Can't mean anything.
縁起でもないこと言ったらダメだお。
ごめん。でもそこってさ、 どんな場所なのかな。
What's with the
今みたい
blinking?
に静かな時間が永遠に続くのかな。だったらそれでもいいな。
As she clung to her father's warm back, Suzuha started to feel very sleepy. If she let her guard down for a moment, she was sure to fall asleep. She'd been trained to fight it on the battlefield. But this wasn't the battlefield, and she was exhausted from crying. Maybe it wouldn't be so bad to let herself sleep once in a while. She sat down and held her knees like a child, then softly closed her eyes.
そっか。結局鈴葉はこの夏までに必ず行っちゃうんだな。たとえオカリンがどんな結論を出すとしても。
Just before she fell asleep, she thought she heard her father talking to himself. Back to this guy!
これはまさにパラダイス。
Maho's eyes were shining like a little girl's. Gonna pour myself a little bit more tea, just a second. Technically, my mug is only like half empty. It's just, the tea in my little thermos mug is way hotter. So every time that it starts cooling down, I just add more of the hot tea to it. Alright, Maho's eyes were shining like a little girl's. Not many girls would look like that if you brought them to a place like this. I was the one who'd brought her here, but she seemed to have forgotten about me entirely. She was wandering down the narrow corridors where all the computer parts were, as if in a daze. Then she came to a stop in front of one of them. Inside the shop were lots of little plastic bins filled with junk parts of all sizes. They'd been taken off of discarded PCs and appliances. Each of them was obviously dirty, and lots of them were covered in dust.
これ一体何の基盤かしら。まるで美術品みたいに美しいパターンをしているわ。しかもアルミナ基盤だなんて。
ああ。
Okabe is me talking to friends about, like, building PCs. I was going to try that at one point. Like, I was gonna try to build my own PC, but it's like, I didn't understand everything well enough. And it's like, I don't want to spend, like, $200, $300, go to put a part in the computer, and then it fucking breaks. Especially because back when I was originally doing this, it was back when I still worked from home. And it's like, yeah, if I don't have a computer to work on, I'm kind of fucked. So I need a functioning PC. I can't be fucking around with this. And now I don't get paid enough to really be able to spend that much on PC parts without worrying about it, so... That noise! I need to hear that wah one more time. Fucking the... Watching the ecstasy on Maho's face creeps me out a little. Thanks, Kurisu. Kurisu spoke from inside my phone. Maho had said that she wanted to go out with Kurisu today. And so I ended up going on a strange date with two girls at once. This might be another test of Amadeus's capabilities.
俺もここは何度か来たことがあるが、あんな顔してパーツをめでる人間にはこれまで一人しかお目にかかったことがない。
分かった。橋田さんのことでしょ。
ああ。
さすがにあの人と同類扱いするのは先輩がかわいそうよ。
Yeah, you know what? It is kind of fucked up.
あんたの話を聞く
Sue really looked at Daru and went, "You are the most incredible pervert." I mean, she's right.
そうだな。ヒアジョさんに失礼だった。
It was early afternoon on a Sunday. There was a reason I'd come with Maho to the computer parts shop. Dr. Leskinen and Maho were heading back to America in a few days. She was leaving soon, so she wanted me to show her around Akihabara like I promised. That's what her message had said. So we met in front of the station in the morning, and I asked her where she wanted to go. This was the result. By the way, our first stop was Yodobashi, and our second, Soft Map. I'd already taken her to a lot of used PC and retro PC shops tucked away in tiny alleys.
ヒアジョさんはこういうパーツが好きなのか？
パーツというか組み立てるものが好きなのね。子供の頃は日本製のプラスティックモデルをよく作ったわ。
Understandable. Alright, let's look up what plastic models are. A kit made from plastic parts put together by following a manual. It's like those Gundam kits that I keep seeing people make. Germanium radios? What the fuck is that? A radio that uses a germanium diode as a rectifier and requires no power supply. This term can also refer to the kits used to build them. Since they're simple enough for anyone to build, they're a common choice for elementary school summer break projects. Interesting, I have literally never heard of this before. Oh man, soldering, yeah. A mixture comprised mostly of lead and tin that is used to join metal components together. Yeah, my brother does that sometimes. I'm pretty sure he's also burned himself soldering too. Probably not everybody. Actually, I'd assume that it was a minority of people who soldered in their homes growing up. It felt like she was never going to leave unless I dragged her out. I finally managed to succeed in getting her away from the part shop by telling her that it was time to eat. We went out to the main road. This area was close to the station, so it was especially crowded. Thanks to the crowds of people waiting to cross the street, you couldn't even walk in a straight line. Now then, where to eat? My first idea was May Queen Yan Square, but after the way that she reacted last time, it was probably best to avoid it. Still, Sampo wasn't a good choice for someone new to Akihabara. Gansen? Maybe Kichinjiro? Go-Go Curry would work too. This is me every time that I'm in a new city and it's like I'm trying to figure out what to eat. Like, Val and I went on a bit of a, not really like, it was like a weekend trip back in October. And we very much had the moment of like, okay, what the fuck are we gonna go eat? And also a couple weeks back, I actually went and visited a couple other friends in a different town. And I got there around lunchtime and we weren't planning on eating dinner until like 8 o'clock at night. We were planning on making like personal pizzas. So we were like, okay, well, we should order something. And it took us like, I think over half an hour to decide like where the fuck we wanted to go eat, because this was a city that I used to live in. I don't live there anymore. I have moved since then. So it's like, I was like, okay, what places can we go to eat at? There was one place where I'm like, I suggested it and then I'm like, wait a second. I just remembered my other friend told me that this place burned down. What the fuck? Where do we eat? We eventually, I think, just got Wendy's, I want to say. I got like chicken strips and poutine. God, actually, okay, this is gonna be a tangent. I am obsessed with Harvey's poutines at the moment. If you've seen me stream with my friend Psycho Rabbit, he is the one to blame for this. I love their poutines. Specifically, they're doing one right now that is both fries and onion rings. And as someone who fucking loves onion, That's awesome. More of that. Why is it taking me this long to find a poutine with fucking onion rings in it? And then I read that they're getting rid of it at the end of March. Why are we not allowed to have nice things? Anyways, all this to say, I'm probably getting Harvey's poutine for lunch tomorrow. Because one of the things with driving all day is that there really aren't that many places that you can microwave a homemade meal in. And I can't find mock chicken in the grocery store anymore, which is like the one lunch meat that I actually enjoy eating without like 5 other ingredients in the sandwich. So honestly, I will say, if you live somewhere that does not have poutine, you don't know what you're missing out on solely, not even for the taste. What I'm talking about is you're missing out because poutine is so fucking filling that you can make a whole meal of it and the portion will cost less, like noticeably less than if you had gotten like, I don't know, like meat and fries or a burger and fries. Like, I get an $8 poutine. This is Canadian, by the way. Like, I get an $8 Canadian poutine, and it's just as filling as a full-on meal that would have cost me like 15 bucks. It's great. You guys need poutine. It's not hard to make. It's just French fries, gravy, cheese curds. That's it. You make the fries, you put the cheese curds on top, you pour the gravy over top so that the curds get a little melted. That's all it is. That's all it is. That's why I'm so surprised that so many more places don't have poutine. Like, I get it in warmer places because, like I said, very filling, very warm. You don't want to eat that on a day when it's like 20 plus degrees Celsius. I mean, you can, but you're not gonna feel that great afterwards. But during the winter, like, you get in from like a really cold day, it's like minus 15 Celsius out. You finally get to go and eat your lunch, and it's a nice hot poutine, fresh. The fries haven't gotten all mushy yet. Peak. That's better than sex. All right, back to this. I might actually. I just realized I forgot to eat dinner. That's why I'm having food brain right now. As I stood there thinking. Maho stopped moving in front of the arcade directly ahead of us. Oh, do we have a retro gamer in our mix? Evidently, she was looking at the crane games on the first floor. Ah, I see. I nodded. All right, let's play crane games. Let's go gambling. Maho walked up to the crane game and pressed her face against the glass like a little kid. Inside the glass were characters from @channel memes, all of different sizes. Maybe Maho was a secret @channeler, just like Kurisu? They were pretty close, so it was possible. I leaned over Maho and whispered a magic spell into her ear.
Nurupo.
Oh? What does this mean? Nulpo. Old @channel slang. It started on the programming board as a shortening of null pointer, and as of now has no meaning whatsoever. When someone says it, it's tradition for someone else to respond, Gah! Oh, I see what you're fucking doing here.
Hi.
I just confused her.
何そのぬっていうのは。
なんでもない。忘れてくれ。
When you try to out someone else for being a Redditor and instead you out yourself as a Redditor. Kurisu was glaring cold daggers at me from inside the smartphone, but I decided to ignore it.
ヒアジョさん、そのぬいぐるみ欲しいのか？
ええ、可愛いじゃない。ねえクリス。
先輩？
何？どうして慌てているの？
なんでもないです。
ちょっと意外だな。さっきパーツが好きって言ってたから、感性としては男に近いのかもって思ってた。
岡部、デリカシーないわね、あんたは。もっとうまいこと言いなさいよ。ギャップが素敵だとかなんとか。
You want him to start talking about Gap Moe?
あ、すまない。
いいわよ別に。実はね、このぬいぐるみクリスがベッドルームに置いていたのよ。
そうなのか。
先輩、
もしかして通販か何かでアメリカまで取り寄せてたのか。
別にどうだっていいでしょ。
さすが隠れアットチャンネラーだな。
何よ、アットチャンネラーって聞いたことない。
ヌルポ。
Got your ass! Even as part of Amadeus, she hadn't changed a bit.
ヒアジョーさん、クリスはこれがなんていうキャラなのか教えてくれたか。
いいえ、何度か聞いてみたけど永遠とはぐらかされたわ。
Getting outed as a redditor from beyond the grave.
だろうな。
だからずっと気になっていたのよ。岡部さんは知っているの？
まあ。
岡部。
A chill ran down my spine as I heard the angry voice from the
俺
smartphone.
も知らないんだ。
そう。
Sheesh, I defended your honor, Kurisu. You better be grateful.
ちょっと挑戦していいかしら。
Maho took her wallet out of her pocket and put 100 yen coin into the machine.
このアームを左右と前後に操作してぬいぐるみをつかめばいいのね。
もしかして初めてなのか。
真帆先輩はレースゲームしかやらないですもんね。
そういうこと。
Maho nodded and pushed the control button, managing to move the arm directly over her target. She smiled, satisfied. Oh, it's not gonna get it.
簡単なものね。あとはアームが降りて勝手に掴んでくれるんでしょ。
あ、いや、普通はそうなんだが。
The arm went straight for the doll, but the angle was slightly off and it didn't grab it right.
おかしいわ。どういうことなの？
Her face! That's what happens your first time. Maho gave it several more tries, but didn't seem to get the hang of it. She groaned and took her last 300 yen to the back of the arcade. She walked over to a game with a red and white two-tone Formula One car on the side of the cabinet. She slid inside, still angry. I remembered that one was a CG racing game based off of real circuits.
岡部、岡部。
なんだ。
ここは男らしさを見せるところよ。
男らしさ？
先輩の代わりにあんたがぬいぐるみを手に入れなさいっていうこと。
I see.
ああ、なるほど。
Same brain. And then give it to Maho, was what she was trying to say. Manliness aside, after seeing how badly she wanted it, I did want to try and help her. I took some coins out of my pocket and checked how much money I was carrying. Okay, it's been a while, but let's try this.
とはいえ、俺もこういうゲームは得意じゃないんだが。
Even so, I was sure I could do better than Maho. May as well give it a try. cute. Damn. Nothing. I love that they were like, okay, well, we don't have the resources to actually, like, animate this. Yo! No! They were like, we don't have the resources to actually animate this, so we can just move a PNG. And so after trying several times, whether it was luck or skill, I managed to get the stuffed animal easier than expected.
Yes.
I stuffed it into a bag and went back to the racing game that Maho was playing. For some reason, there was a crowd of around 10 people around it. The crowd was whispering to one another. All of them seemed to be amazed. I made my way into the crowd and looked at the screen. The game Maho was playing was one of those where you had to clear each stage in a set time, or else it would be game over. With each race, the course got more and more difficult. And she was placing first every time with ease. As the crowd watched in awe, she finally made it to the end of the last stage well ahead of the other racers. And she'd set a new record. She had a satisfied smile on her face as she looked at the flashy "Congratulations" graphic on the ending screen. Then she noticed the crowd around her and her body jerked. An arcade employee walked over to Maho and started to clap. Then the crowd started to clap as well. Maho's face went beet red. I should probably help her. I pushed my way through the crowd and grabbed her hand to pull her up. I'd never seen her this obedient before. We made our way through the hustle and bustle and finally got out of the arcade. Maho sighed in relief. I handed her the bag with my prize in it. She opened the bag and took out the stuffed animal. Cute! Maho hugged the doll tight to her chest with the innocent smile of a child. Seeing how happy she was made me happy too. If you didn't know it was from an old @channel meme, it was actually pretty cute. I could see her keeping it as a memory of her daughter. Damn. Hi Souls, welcome to the stream! Oh, that's sweet.
さてと、次はどうする？他に見てみたいところはあるか？と言っても、アニメやゲームのショップなんかは興味ないよな。
クリス、悪いけどしばらく岡部さんと二人きりにしてくれる？
先輩、ついに自分の気持ちに素直になることにしたんですね。岡部、ちゃんとしなさいよ。
I don't think it's gonna be a love confession. I'll be real, Karisu. I appreciate you being a fucking wingman here. I don't think it's what you think it is.
はあ？
先輩、頑張って。それじゃあ。
All right.
ヒア城さん？
行きたい場所もう一つあるんだけれど。
そうか。どこだ？
Is it someplace she didn't want Karisu knowing about?
あそこよ。わかるでしょ？
The smile was gone from Maho's face. Oh, she wants to go back to the radio building, doesn't she? To see where Karisu died. She looked like she'd come to some kind of decision. And then I realized where she wanted to go.
ラジカンに連れて行って。
Yep. The radio building. And she wanted me to take her there. I understood immediately. Because that was where Karisu Makise had died. I'd gone up to the roof several times since then. The time machine was there, and Suzuha and Daru would go up once in a while to do maintenance. Yeah, happy March. It's weird to think that it's already been, like, we're already in the 3rd month of the year. What the fuck? Just a few days ago, Suzuha had called me out there and pointed a gun in my face. But even so, I had never been to that storeroom on the 8th floor where it had happened. I couldn't bring myself to do it. Just finished work? Hell yeah. Just remembering what happened was enough to cause a severe flashback. There was no way I could visit the site of her death.
大丈夫。ずいぶん顔色が悪いけれど。
Man, well now you get to relax at least. Not Okabe. Okabe does not get to relax at the moment.
クリスのこと思い出してしまうの？
そうだろうな。
辛いならついてこなくてもいいわ。私一人で行くから。
But her face was colorless. Going there had to be hard on her too. But even so, she was trying to come to grips with Kurisu's death. I wanted to help her remember our friend. The radio building was going to be renovated. There wasn't a lot of time.
いや、一緒に行くよ。
All right. If you're good with this. But don't force yourself if it gets bad. Also, this has been bugging me. I need to move myself up a little bit. Where this. There we go. Okay. I've been putting off fixing that like the entire stream. Oh, also, I see 100th Assassin. I don't see his message yet. Hell plus ratio plus wrong timeline plus infinite suffering plus first love is now a cell phone. Yeah, congratulations. You've summed up Steins Gate 0 in a single comment. Half of the shops had already been moved to another building to make way for the renovation. What do you call two birds in love? Tweethearts. But many of the shops on the 7th floor were still open. Oh god. It's getting bad. 6 months ago on July 28th, I killed Kurisu on the floor just above where I was standing. With my own hands.
ここなの？
いや、事件があったのはこの上の階だと聞いている。
I wasn't supposed to have been at the scene of Kurisu's death. I'd already asked Mayuri and Daru not to tell anyone.
上には何が？
イベント会場と、あとは倉庫とかになってる。
行ってみてもいいのかしら。
今は立ち入り禁止のはず。
But the rope that always blocked off the way to the 8th floor wasn't there today. I could hear loud voices and laughter from above. Since it was a day off, there must have been some kind of event going on upstairs.
大丈夫そうね。
Maho headed up the stairs first. I slowly dragged myself up the stairs. We passed by the event hall and into the back. It looked like there was no one around. Nothing had changed in 6 months.
ここだ。
There were no lights on and the place seemed dark and lonely. This time the storeroom was locked.
そう。こんな場所で。
I could see her lips trembling as she whispered. It seemed strange. This was the place where Kurisu had died, covered in blood, and yet, nearby, the rest of the world continued on like it didn't care. And now I'd come back, even though this was where the one I love had died.
もどかしいわ。私は物理学者ではないから相対性理論のことを詳細に理解しているわけではないけれど、時間と空間が同列だというのなら、なぜ空間と同じように時間も容易に移動できないのかしらね。今私たちは空間的にはクリスの死と同じ軸上にいるのよ。なのに時間軸がほんの少しずれているというだけで手出しすることすら叶わない。あなたこの前クリスにアマデウスの方だけど面白い質問をしたわよね。タイムマシンは作れるかどうかって。
This is kind of the worst topic to bring up in this particular location, Maho. I know you don't know this, but oh boy.
ぜひ研究してみてほしいわ。真っ先に私が友人テストに名乗り出るから。
I couldn't tell from the tone of her voice if she was serious or joking. She laughed sadly. Time machines are real, you know. And there's one right above us. What would she do if I told her that? Would she blame me for giving up on saving Kurisu? And say she'd go back to the past herself?
岡部さん、クリスが亡くなった時の状況について教えてくれない？
Oh, that's a worse question! Oh, that's so much worse! Okay!
私、詳しくは知らないの。
俺だってろくに知らないよ。前にそう話さなかったか？
でもアメリカにいた私よりは詳しいでしょ。クリスはどうしてこんなところに来たのかしら。クリスが死んだ時、すぐそこのイベントホールでは今日みたいにイベントが行われていたそうね。
Yo, it is funny anime girl time! Hi, Rihanna Keeves, welcome to the stream! She died the way she lived, telling Okabe he has no riz? God. We could hear the occasional sounds of laughter coming from the event hall.
中鉢博士、去年の夏ニュースになった。ロシアに亡命してタイムマシンに関する論文を書いたって。
Okay, we need to change the topic, like, 5 minutes ago.
その論文の内容はそれはひどいものだったらしいけれど、ただそれでピンときたのよ。アメリカのクリスの家に放火した連中もロシア語を話していた。これ偶然かしら。私は何らかの関連性があると思う。 だから中鉢博士について調べようと思ったんだけど、不思議なことに驚くほど情報がないのよ。ネットで検索しても本名すら出てこない。中鉢博士について言及しているブログやサイトを見に行ってもほとんどは閉鎖してるわ。しかもこの半年ほどで立て続けに。ねえ、一体クリスの周りで何が起きていたの？もしかして今もまだそれは続いているの？あなたは何を隠しているの？
Her eyes were pure and sought the truth. Kurisu used to get that exact same look in her eyes all the time. But
好奇心で足を突っ込まない方がいい。俺はもうたくさんだ。
今更だわ。私は片足を突っ込んでしまっているのよ。それに考えてしまうのよ。この前襲われたのももしかすると私のせいじゃないかって。
oof.
君のせい？
Maybe because of the Amadeus project, or because she's like digging into Kurisu's death?
狙われる理由があるのか？
私は。
And then she paused for a moment.
私はクリスの遺産を持っている。
Oh. Belongings. Some of Kurisu's belongings. What did she mean? Maho had said that after Kurisu died, she'd gone to her home in America and received some of her belongings from her mom. Was she saying now that the attack was because of that? My mind began to race. Russia. Where Dr. Nakabachi had sought asylum. The people who attacked Kurisu's home spoke Russian. And just a few days ago, the Russians, probably, had experimented with changing the past. Suzuha had said that World War III would be set off by the time machine. The time machine. Nakabachi's paper. The paper he'd written about the time machine. The cause of the Third World War. A miraculous, nightmarish paper which would cause the deaths of 5.7 billion people. The time machine he discussed at his press conference was a ripoff of John Titor's. But the one in his paper was different. I'd never managed to read it, though. My guess was that Kurisu had showed him the original that she'd written on July 28th, and his paper was an inferior copy. Kurisu had written down instructions for making a time machine. I shuddered. I quickly booted up the Rhine program on my smartphone. I paged through my chat logs. That hard drive and that laptop contained the data for the original version of Nakabachi's paper. Maybe Kurisu's paper.
Daruのところに持ち込まれたクリスのノート PC とハードディスク。まさかあれの解析を依頼したのは。
I looked at Maho. She looked back at me without smiling. And she nodded.
ええ、私よ。
From Maho's perspective, there were too many things about Kurisu's death that didn't make any sense. Maybe that was why she had decided to look into why Kurisu was killed. Of course she'd assumed there were hints hidden inside of her laptop and hard drive. But if my hypothesis was right, that laptop was too dangerous to be allowed to exist. It was Pandora's box with the power to unleash the Third World War.
どうして隠していた？
最初はあなたと橋田さんの関係を知らなかった。橋田さんに頼んだのは本当に偶然よ。そしてあなたはクリスのことについて何か隠しているように思えた。そんなあなたに 正直に全て話せるわけないでしょう。信用していないというわけではないのだけど、クリスのことについては慎重になった方がいいと思って。
ああ、
Fair enough.
それについては正解だよ。アマデウスのテスターになることを反対しなかったのも、そういう打算があってのことか。
打算なんて言わないで。私はただクリスの友達であるあなたのことをもっと知りたかった。
クリスの秘密を手に入れるために。
あの子のことをもっと知りたかったのよ。
Every time Maho closes her eyes, I mistake her eyebrows for some weirdly drawn eyes. Fair, I guess. She glared right back as if challenging me.
ダルはもう解析したのか。
まだよ。だからアメリカに帰る前に最後にもう一度あなたと話をしようと思ったの。
So that's why she brought me here? I need to call Daru right now. Okay. What is this? Okay, I have to wait until I'm in front of Daru. Phone or Ryan, which was better? Let's just call him.
Hey, もしもし。
今、ラボにいるか。
いや、
じゃあどこにいる？
家で絶賛エロゲ中。どうかしたの？
Thanks, Daru! Thanks, man. That's great.
お前の裏のバイトの件で話しました。
あ、あれか。なんかマキセ氏の情報を思い出した？
ああ。
Of course, that was a lie. He could be in danger if I didn't get that laptop back right now. I glanced over at Maho.
じゃあさ、LINE で送ってもらえるかな？
直接会って話をしよう。ラボで合流できないか？
今手が離せないから夕方でもいい？
エロゲなんて後でいくらでもできるだろう。
さあせん、家でエロゲしてるってのは嘘。実は今バイト中で手が離せないんだよね。
バイト？
Well, I was lying to him too, so I didn't really have room to talk.
じゃあ、本当はどこにいる？手が離せないならこっちから行く。とにかく今すぐに話したい。
あんまオカリンには教えたくなかったんだけどな。ヤバげな仕事も多いから。まあいいや、わかった。これから言うところに来てよ。
The location he gave me was still in Akihabara. It was less than 5 minutes away. Imagine being so ashamed of your work that you'd rather say it's Jorkin time to people. He's a man of dedication, focus, and sheer fucking will. Down an alley, a few turns off the main strip, all the hustle and bustle of the crowd completely disappears. We were on the 7th floor of an old mixed-use building. We were in Akihabara, the center of Tokyo, in the middle of the day on Sunday, and still the alleyway we'd come in seemed lonely and abandoned. There, we found the shop Daru had told us about. I don't know what that says, but I do see an anime girl. There was a cute anime-style sign on the steel door that read, "Cosplay Media at Akihabara, we're open, come on in." Alright. What's this? I'm out shopping with Luca. You want to come join us? Sorry, a bit busy now. Where are you? I'll just say sorry, a bit busy now. What happened? About to have a bit of a long talk. With who? Daru. It's not something we can let a girl hear. I'm a guy, though. I can't let you hear it, Luca. You're too kind. It would knock you out cold. Huh? Okarin, don't do anything too weird. But lately, you haven't done anything. But you haven't done anything like that lately, so it kind of feels like old times. Sorry, ask me another time. No, sorry for bugging you. Talk to you later. Bye. Farewell. Okay. The store was jammed full of cosplay outfits. The wall near the entrance held the new arrivals corner and popular cosplay sections, as well as cosplay wigs, ribbons, jewelry, and props. The other wall held the used outfit section, and a shoes section stocked with socks, school shoes, heels, and boots. Even further back, I could see rows of school swimsuits and competition swimming suits. Can't let such a delicate girl hear this, but he's a guy. It looked like the place sold mainly to girls, but this clearly wasn't a location where women would feel comfortable. The other tenants in the building were all shady shops with names like Drops of the Spirit God Inc., Space Radio Receiver Sales, and Flower Petal Video Project. I don't want to know what the last one is.
君はここには来たことが。
いいえ、前に会った時は別の雑居ビルだったから、同じような怪しいお店だったけれど。
そうか。
I felt like I'd seen Daru's dark side. The shop was completely silent. There were no customers other than us. There was a thin man with long hair at the counter who looked like he worked there, but he didn't even raise his head up from his magazine when we came in. To be honest, ever since I'd entered, I'd worried that someone would think I was up to something illegal. Anybody who saw me would think I was a pervert taking a middle school girl to a shady cosplay shop. Yeah, not a great look. Daru appeared from the back of the shop. There had been no sign of him a second ago.
つうか、マホタンも一緒だったんだね。
そのマホタンというのやめてくれないかしら。
なんで？可愛いじゃん。
バカにされている気分だわ。
そんなことよりダル、お前どこから出てきたの？
The man at the counter hadn't said anything, which meant they knew he was here.
とりあえずこっち。
Daru headed to the back of the store. One of the rows of hanger racks holding idle cosplay outfits was pulled forward, and behind it I could see a curtain. Past the curtain was a tiny space that led to a door marked Staff Only. If the hanger rack hadn't been moved, I'd have no idea. I'd have had no idea this was here.
まるで忍者屋敷ね。
Yeah, this sure is Daru's workspace, all right. Behind the door was a cramped office. Well, no, the room itself may have been pretty big, but the darkness made it feel very cramped. It was honestly hard to breathe. There were 4 desks in the center surrounded by metal racks. The desks and floor were piled high with all manner of computers and peripherals. There were boxes and bags littered everywhere. I couldn't tell if they were trash or not. There were towers of magazines, games, plastic models, and figure boxes. And the desk was covered in garbage just like the one at the lab. Have you considered after completing Steins Gate to watch the sequel movie, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs? I actually haven't seen that movie, so... The thing is, I can't say that I'm gonna watch it because I have like a billion other things I want to watch that I think I'll enjoy a lot more than Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. It was too dark to tell, but I was sure the figures he had on display were all covered in dust. And what did he need 6 monitors for anyway? Each of them displayed an image of the store. Evidently, it was footage from a security camera. Given the size of the store and the lack of customers, even 3 cameras would have been too many.
ま、適当に座って。
The main character's disturbingly similar looking to a comic. Awesome.
座れる場所なんてないぞ。
Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs is such a meme-filled movie. Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, it's the one with the, with like the cop that runs towards the screen, right? I think I've seen those memes before.
今スペース作るよ。
Daru kicked aside the boxes on the floor to make room, then set down 2 folding chairs.
お前、この 店とはどういう関係なんだ？
バイトリーダーみたいなもんかな。結構こういうアングラな店のバイト掛け持ちしてるんだよね。
The movie is terrible outside of 5-second clips. I see. I see.
でさ、たまに事務所を個人的に使わせてもらってるわけ。
裏のバイトのためにか？
そういうこと。
Maybe there was a lot more to Daru than I thought.
ここにあるものは全部お前の私物か？
いや、他のバイトのみんなとの共有財産的なやつ。さすがにこんなにたくさん買えるほどお金持ってないし。
The movie is a masterpiece. Don't listen to anyone saying otherwise. I see. I'm getting very conflicting reviews here.
Oh.
Or so he said, but who knew if that was true?
Huh?
Oh, this is where... Okay. Just a sec. This is where it changes. So if I answer the phone call from Amadeus here, I get the bad ending. Just a sec. Just a sec. This way we can go back. Alright, we're answering it.
なんだ？
あんたまだ真帆先輩と一緒よね。
ああ、一緒だが。
どうかしたの？
レスキネン教授からたった今聞いたんですが、和光市のオフィスが何者かに荒らされたって。
Oh shit.
あと真帆先輩のホテルからも連絡が来て、そっちも誰かに侵入されたみたいです。
Oh damn.
なんですって？
すぐにレスキネン教授からも連絡があるはずですけど、少しでも早く知らせた方がいいと思って。
ありがとうクリス。ヒアジョーさんのことは俺とダルで見てるから大丈夫だ。
そうね、頼むわ。それじゃ。
Maho looked out and bit her lip.
懸念していたことが現実になったな。狙いは間違いなくクリスのノート PC とハードディスクだ。
え、マジで？
場所を変えた方がいいかもしれない。
ここは安全だと思うけど。
なんとなく嫌な予感がするんだ。勘みたいなものだ。
わかったお。
それでノート PC とハードディスクはどこに？
Daru sighed and grabbed a locked, fire-resistant case off of one of the racks. He opened it. Is that where he hid it? The laptop was a deep red Japanese model with a 12-inch LCD screen. The hard drive was American, from a brand known for equipping its drives with the shock-resistant rubber case.
それを持って急いで出よう。
I think this is a bad idea. Can we just, like, bash it with a shoe first or something? Like, if it's so dangerous, like, and you're getting a bad feeling, I'm sensing a kidnapping incoming. Both Maho and Daru nodded silently. As soon as we left the building, I could see a car coming down the empty alleyway. It was a big American RV. We quickly hid ourselves in the shadow of another building. My intuition was right. The RV stopped in front of the building we'd just left. 3 men came out. None of them were Japanese. They were all dressed in black suits, almost like MIBs. Well, we know what this is. I'm sure we've all seen the movie, Men in Black, an American urban legend. It is said that they are secret government agents who appear without warning before UFO witnesses or researchers to put a stop to their activities. It is not known whether such a secret agency actually exists. The name comes from the fact that they dress all in black and wear black sunglasses. A movie of the same name, based loosely off the urban legend, helped popularize the idea. Yeah. Also, sorry if I am, like, sniffling and snuffling, like, so fucking much this stream. My nose being full has not been an issue for me. Literally, right when I started streaming, my body went, yeah, no. We can't let this happen. We stopped the last stream, let's stop this one too. Whatever they weren't Akihabara tourists.
間一髪だったな。
Maho went pale when she saw the men go into the building. She seemed to be shaking a little too.
まるで映画の世界だわ。とても現実とは思えない。
でもさ、あの連中は店の情報どうやって入手したんだろう。
誰がヘマしたんじゃないのか。
僕を誰だと思ってる？
スーパーハッカーだろ。
ハッカーな。足はつかないように注意してるっつうの。
または俺とヒヤジョーさんが尾行されてた可能性もあるが。
怖いこと言わないでよ。
和光市のオフィスやホテルだって荒らされたんだ。ヒヤジョーさんがずっとマークされていたのは間違いない。
Yeah.
あ、そうだわ。
Maho seemed to suddenly remember something. She took out her smartphone and made a
教
call.
授に連絡しないと。
今日はどこかに身を隠すと伝えておいた方がいい。教授と合流すると教授にまで危険が及ぶかもしれない。
Maho nodded. Alright, we'll go through the scene with Maho and then I'm probably gonna leave because I need to eat dinner. And also, I don't want my voice to be too rough for work tomorrow. Okay, but imagine how hilarious if they were Akihabara tourists, just stone-faced, uniformed, and quietly excited to see a maid cafe. How? Okay, I'm imagining like a whole scenario where it's like imagine you are like one of the maids at a maid cafe. And a guy who looks like he's part of the Men in Black just sits down, completely stone-faced, and you're assigned to him. How the fuck do you react? Now, then again, like, I don't work in a maid cafe myself, so honestly, it probably is just like, oh, keep doing, like, the same shit that you would already do. Like, even if the guy just, like, does not seem to be responding to what the fuck you're doing. But still, it's a funny mental image. Rintaro took Maho to Ferris Nyanyan's home. It was on the top floor of a high-rise building in the center of Akihabara. If nothing else, it was sure to be more secure than the ancient building they'd just been in. Ferris welcomed the two of them, offering them food and a place to sleep. Daughter returned alone to the future gadget lab to meet up with Suzuha.
このノート PC は
Oh, we get to see you from outside this time.
災いを呼ぶだろう。手放した方がいい。
Once they'd both calmed down, she started to talk to him about what they were going to do with Kurisu's computer. He didn't budge an inch. Usually he was an introvert who never pushed too hard for anything, but this time, he was extremely stubborn. I wonder why. Of course, so was Maho.
せめてロックを解除して中身について確かめたいわ。
Imagine being the maid trying to get the Men in Black agent to join in on the Moe Moe Kyun. Exactly. Exactly. It's just a funny scenario.
今のところそれもできずに手詰まりだけれど。
そんな悠長なことを言っている場合じゃない。今すぐ手放すべきだ。一番いいのはこの場で破壊することだが。
破壊するって、これはクリスの形見でもあるのよ。
君はもう少しロジカルな人間だと思ってた。
私はあなたがそんな冷たい人だとは思わなかった。
Maho's words made him flinch. Something bad had happened to him. That's how it seemed to her. And it was easy to assume that it had something to do with Kurisu. So she decided to ask him what she hadn't gotten to earlier during the fuss this afternoon.
あなたはクリスの事件について 何か隠しているように見えるのだけれど。
Ooh! Oh! How is this scene gonna go?
俺の知ってることなんてどうでもいいような話だ。
Maho could tell he wasn't going to share. If they hadn't been interrupted this afternoon, would he have told her?
それよりこの PC をどうするかだ。これはもう友達の形見なんていう私的なレベルのものじゃない。国家規模での争奪戦を引き起こす代物なんだ。
一体どんな陰謀論よ。
この後に及んで陰謀論だと言い張るのか。君も見ただろう、あの黒服の外国人たちを。君の通う
Please trust the man. Please trust him.
ホテルも荒らされた。クリスの自宅だって放火された。その放火事件の後、君の研究室に FBI を名乗る謎の男たちが調査に来た。前にホテルの駐車場で襲われたことだってもしかしたら関連があるかもしれない。普通なら絶対に遭遇しないような出来事が立て続けに起きている。これは偶然じゃない。
だからって国家規模だなんて。
The whole thing just seemed like too much of a stretch to her. Trying to connect every single event was a trap that conspiracy theorists often fell into. But in fact, most things that happened didn't really mean anything. When she began to tell him that, what he said next surprised her.
事態はこの先、ジョン・タイターの予言通りに進むだろう。
ジョン・タイター？
You're gonna lose her, Okame! Maho had never heard that name before.
10年前にアメリカのネット掲示板に現れた人物だよ。2036年からタイムマシンに乗ってやってきた自称未来人だ。俺はそいつが本物だと知っている。会ったこともある。ジョン・タイターによれば2015年には第三次世界大戦が起きる。その原因はタイムマシンだ。
バカにしているの？
至って真面目だ。中鉢博士のことを知りたがっていたな。奴はクリスの父親だ。中鉢論文にはクリスが関わっていた可能性がある。
なんですって？
Maho had read Dr. Nakabachi's paper out of curiosity. Last summer, he'd proudly announced his paper on time travel to the entire world just before fleeing to Russia. The paper itself, however, was so poorly written that it was of no value whatsoever. She couldn't believe that Kurisu might have been involved in writing it.
論文は劣化版で、もしもクリス自身が書いたオリジナルが存在するとしたら、クリスの残したノート PC とポータブルハードディスク、その中身が実際のところ何なのかは関係ない。ただそれを手に入れたがっている連中がいるんだ。
ちょっと待って、少し整理させて。
Could what Rintaro was saying be true? She took a moment to think. Normally, she wouldn't give something like this a second thought. But what had been happening around her lately just wasn't normal. She couldn't outright deny it. Besides, she was nursing a conspiracy theory of her own.
私もこの PC が狙われているかもしれないという予感はしていたのよ。ただ、あなたの話は私の予想とはあまりにもかけ離れすぎていて。
予想とは？
アマデウスの軍事転用のことじゃないかと考えていたの。
Which, fair. They could also be doing that. I mean, we did see in the last timeline, like, yeah, no, people were gonna use Amadeus Karisu for a similar thing is what they're using the laptop for, or what they want to use the laptop for.
軍事転用。
クリスは精神生理学研究所にもよく出入りしていたんだけど、時々場違いな連中がそこにやってくるって言ってたの。
Ooh. Psychophysiology Lab. Fictional. One of the labs at Victor-Condria University. While the Brain Science Institute attempts to understand the processes behind thought and memory by examining the systems used by the brain itself, the Psychophysiology Lab's goals are more medical in nature. They develop new medical treatments by researching the biological and physical effects caused by the mind's workings. The lab's research covers a wide range of areas including perception, recognition, reflexes, learning, sleep, alcohol addiction, and schizophrenia. Interesting. Ugh.
どうも国防総省の人じゃないかって。
Department of Defense. I mean, I think we know what this is, but the United States Department of Defense. It's also known as the Pentagon due to the shape of the building it's located in. It's America's most high-level defense agency, responsible for controlling the Army, Navy, and Air Force.
アマデウスで人を殺せるのか。どうやって。
例えば百戦錬磨のパイロットから記憶データをコピーして無人戦闘機の制御に使うとか、あと以前話した医療への応用覚えてる？
人間の脳へ記憶データを書き戻すってやつかな。
I see.
そう。記憶データを修正した上で書き戻しが可能になれば、恐怖を感じない兵士やどんな非道な任務でも平然と遂行する部隊なんていう恐ろしいものまで作れてしまう。私はてっきりクリスがそういった実験の証拠を偶然知ってしまったんじゃないかと思っていたの。
なあ、アマデウスの研究には米軍が関与していたりはしないよな。
するわけないでしょ。
本当にそう言い切れるか。君はあくまで研究者であってプロジェクトの総責任者じゃない。
レスキネン教授だって軍に関与なんてさせないわ。
だよな。あれは別の世界線の話だし。
世界線？何のこと？
いや、忘れてくれ。俺の考えすぎだと思う。
He hadn't seemed like he'd really meant that. And that really bothered her. She wanted to hear more about John Titor, but he didn't tell her anything else. Dr. Leskinen doesn't suffer from Kurisu's dad syndrome. You mean being a piece of shit syndrome? Since she couldn't crack the security on Kurisu's laptop and hard drive, it did Maho no good to carry them. And just like Ryentaro said, those attackers scared her. So she decided she had no choice but to give them to him. He didn't tell her whether he was going to destroy them or not.
Maho, 無事でよかった。
When she arrived at their office in Wako City, Dr. Leskinen was already there. He came over and gave her a big hug.
教授、苦しい。
おう、すまない。ははは。
She'd heard that the office had been ransacked, but whatever had happened had already been cleaned up.
教授が片付けたんですか？
荒らされたと言っても、もともと私と魔法しか使っていなかったわけだし、荷物も多くなかったからね。
Fair, fair.
あとは警察に任せてある。
2 days had passed since the office had been ransacked. Maho had spent both of them at Ferris's home, and only today had she gotten in touch with Dr. Leskinen and gone to Wako City to get her things. They were both going back tomorrow, just as planned. That meant they were saying goodbye to this office.
犯人はまだ捕まっていないんですよね。
ああ。
日本に来てから災難続きだな。
ですね。
The two of them looked around the empty office. It had been a busy 2 months.
魔法はどうだったかな。日本はもう一つの故郷でもあるわけだろう。感想は？
早く大学に戻って研究に打ち込みたいですね。この2ヶ月資料をまとめてばかりだった気がするので。
魔法は真面目だね。
それとクリスが最後の時間を過ごしたこの国の空気を感じることができたのは良かったです。
魔法。
But she still hadn't figured out why Kurisu had died. Actually, she had even more questions now. It bothered her to go home with so many questions left unanswered. If only Rintaro had told her everything he knew.
そういえば
The thought suddenly occurred to Maho.
アマデウスのテスターの件はどうします？
Of course, she meant Rintaro Okabe. If both Maho and Leskinen were heading back to America, that meant his time as a tester was over.
そうだね。
For some reason, the professor was taking a moment to think it over. She wondered what there was to think about.
テスターはこのまま続けてもらおうと思っているんだが、どうだろう。
え？本気ですか？
実際、リンタロウと話すことで、クリスはこれまでにないような反応をして見せているだろう。今後は彼だけでなく、もっと多くのテスターを使っていきたいとも考えているところだし。
セキュリティの面で不安があるのでは？アメリカと日本だと離れすぎていて、何かトラブルが起きた時に対処できません。
大丈夫さ。私はリンタロウを信じているからね。
いや、信じるとか信じないという話ではなくてですね。
それにテストを継続すれば、魔法だって定期的にリンタロウと連絡を取れるよ。
私は関係ないでしょう。
そうかい？
そうですよ。
では今後のリンタロウとの連絡は私が直接取ることにしよ
う。別に構いませんよ。
It still seemed like he wasn't telling her something, but she was too embarrassed to question him further. It surprised her, though, that he was so focused on Rintaro. It's because my nose is stuffed and it's not letting me make the right fucking noises. He seemed to have taken a real liking to him ever since they had first met. Did he simply like the guy, or was it because he was Kurisu's friend? Or was it something else? She didn't know. The next day, Maho and Dr. Leskinen returned to America via Narita Airport, just like they had planned. Rintaro had come to see them off, and he was very surprised when Dr. Leskinen told him he could continue being a tester. And then half a year passed. Okay. I want to end stream. But we might be at the ending. Okay, no, you know what? We did just kind of have a little break from Formula. Like, not Formula. What the fuck am I saying? I get a little bit sick. And I forget how to think in complete sentences. This sucks. But honestly, it's like this isn't the best spot to leave off on, maybe, but also, I am very hungry. I should have eaten dinner before the stream, but I forgot. So we'll finish up here, and then Wednesday, we're gonna get to see this. So, yeah, you know what? Actually, now that I have remembered, like, oh yeah, I'm streaming on Wednesdays too now. I don't feel bad about ending stream right now. Yes, it's a bit of a cliffhanger, but stick with me, okay? I need to go eat dinner. I have writing I want to go and do. I have things I need to get ready before tomorrow. And also, I can tell that my voice is getting rougher. So, in the hopes of actually being able to stream on Wednesday this week, like, I think I'm just gonna end here, but damn, knowing that we are on the way to the bad ending, yeah, it kind of makes me wonder what the fuck is about to happen to Maho. I really hope that we don't start playing on Wednesday, and it's like 5 minutes later, okay, here's the ending. It's like, ah! We'll see, though. We'll see. And also, since we saved in that one particular spot, we may also be able to see the Mayuri ending on Wednesday as well, depending on how long it takes to get there. We'll see. We'll see. So, yeah, I can't really think of anything that, that I need to say is, like, housekeeping. So, thank you for the stream. Be safe, have fun. Thanks, Rihanna Keeves. I'll go into the usual end of stream stuff then. So, if you're new around here and you like what you saw, and you want to catch the next one, hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell, you'll get notified whenever I go live. I play mostly, at this point I play mostly visual novels, which isn't even technically playing them, but still. And hopefully this Sunday, Val will be available, and we'll be able to play a little bit more Disco Elysium. So if you want to see some of that too, also hit subscribe. And if you want to be notified whenever I go live, even on other people's channels, like say I'm with a friend on Twitch, you can find all of that on my Blue Sky. I know it's still listed as my Twitter. My handle is the same on Blue Sky. It's still Cipher Novella. Hooray, war crimes! But yeah, so you'll also get to see me do like some little shit posts every now and again, talk about how I was on Friday. I was like, I had to do a pickup at work, and I stopped by this one place to pick up samples, and before I left the vehicle, I was like, man, I really hope that I start feeling better soon. First thing I see upon getting out of the car, a raven. It's like, huh, really hope that's a good omen. Sure hope that's good luck for me. I'm kidding. Ravens are funny little guys. I like them. There aren't that many of them in Ontario from what I've seen, but it's like, every once in a while you come across one, and it's just nice. I like ravens. I like corvids in general. They're just funny little guys. I'd probably talk about corvids differently if I lived in Australia, though, from what I've heard. Anyways, now I'm just rambling about birds. So, I will see you guys again on Wednesday, hopefully, if my voice doesn't decide to fucking die on me again. That'd be great. I'd love it. I'd love it so much. However, if I do have to cancel, that'll also be on Blue Sky. It shouldn't happen, though. Like, I'm gonna try as hard as I can to make sure that I don't have to cancel the Wednesday stream again. Knock on fucking wood. I'm knocking on my desk. That's, like, that's, like, not really wood. It's IKEA furniture. Hopefully it's close enough to work. So anyways, have a good night, everyone. Sweet dreams. And I will see you all on Wednesday. Have a good night.